If you're looking to refinance your mortgage now that interest rates have become more attractive, you'll need to get in line. A local bank executive says that they're working night and day to process refinancing applications. It also says that consumers should be prepared to pay more.
During the last several weeks, a drop in mortgage rates has caused a rush to refinance. But because of the credit crisis, fees to refinance, particularly through Fannie Mae, have increased considerably. And some people are surprised to find that the requirements to refinance have also been tightened. Bill Enlow is the CEO of the Los Alamos National Bank. He says that they are working night and day to process about $80 million in refinancings. But because of the higher fees and stricter requirements, some customers are deciding against it despite the lower mortgage rates.
We're running 3 shifts, nights and weekends, trying to keep up with the requests and the applications. It's a lot different than in the past. Our last big refinance boom was in 2003. And Fannie Mae's underwriting requirements, which is who we sell to primarily, it has changed significantly, much tighter. And so some of the customers that refinanced in 2003 are finding it more difficult this time, more cumbersome, and more restrictions than they had in 2003 because of changes in Fannie Mae requirements.
Enlow says that New Mexico banks are weathering the current storm fairly well because they avoided the types of lending and securitizations that help cause the problem. But the recession is causing difficulties for everyone. He feels that aspects of the state's economy help to stabilize jobs and incomes.
Not many of the New Mexico banks, and when I say New Mexico, of course, I'm not talking about Wells Fargo and Bank of America. The New Mexico banks didn't do securitization. They didn't buy derivatives. They didn't do, including us, all those things that started this mess. On the other hand, we all lend money, and the recession is significant. We're lucky that we're in a state that did not have a lot of speculation in real estate. There's not a lot of overbuilding, and we're very fortunate we're in a state that, although Albuquerque boomed some, it did not boom anything like Southern California, Phoenix, Florida. We aren't dependent on a lot of manufacturing like the Rust Belt and many other places where there's already been and will be a lot more layoffs. We're pretty heavily, especially in northern New Mexico, have a heavy concentration of government, the laboratory, state government in Santa Fe, and those are very stabilizing forces in a recession.
As the recession continues, New Mexico banks will feel the effects. Consumers have all but stopped spending, and that is not good for business. And that, in turn, is not good for the banks.
We're certainly part of that recession in that people have really quit spending money. So there's not many things selling. The houses, cars, large appliances, and then just the general consumer goods, including art, luxury items, and that affects Santa Fe. So, we're starting to see a lot of pressure on businesses. Businesses are suffering. Sooner or later, the banks are going to be suffering, and we're starting into that phase.
Despite all the problems, Enlow is positive about the future and the ability of the state's economy to hold up and rebound from the current difficulties.
Overall, New Mexico has not experienced, in reality, the severe problems that occurred early on in the recession. Really, the main issue in most of New Mexico is that people think we're in a recession, which nationally we certainly are, but they're very conservative, not spending money. If there starts to be good news, I think almost with any kind of trend at all, I think we'll see our small micronism recover relatively quickly because it doesn't have far to recover. It's mainly attitude.
That's Bill Enlow of Los Alamos National Bank. For KSFR News, this is Cynthia Cook.